The closer we get to the release of Ravnica Remastered, you may have noticed that Wizards of the Coast is being unusually quiet about this product, and we've noticed the declining values of many of the cards that are in the Ravnica block. So what does that mean for Ravnica Remastered? What does that mean for cards that players may be desiring? Well, hang on, we have a lot to talk about in today's video. Here we go. Some products are bad before they even get started. Others are destroyed by some external factor. And in the case of Ravnica Remastered, that's exactly what's happened. Welcome back, everyone. mtgnews here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notification bells, new content every single day. So what are we talking about? I've been discussing Ravnica Remastered off and on for the last couple of months, and as we got closer to the date, as cards started showing up, we saw declining values in the secondary market. We saw players becoming already hesitant with a block that has had multiple printings, and the most expensive cards being Shocklands seeing declining values. Now overall, Wizards of the Coast has been pretty quiet, pretty mum on the subject of Ravnica Remastered. Sure, they showed off a little bit. They did a little here and there to say, look at this great set coming up. We're looking forward to exposing all the players to the amazing block that is Ravnica. But really, compared to what they've done in the past, they've gone kind of silent. They're going under the radar because, unfortunately, this product was kind of doomed from the start. And it's not because it's not a good product. I'm going to tell you now, the artwork, the cards, and yes, there's lots of box openings already out there for you to view. Go ahead and take a look at them. But it is the price point. It's too expensive. Now, if I showed you locally what we pay here in Toronto, Ontario, $3.99.95 per box plus tax, okay? So that's around what? $4.50 Canadian. It'd be similar somewhere like that in Australia. You guys can see. But if we went ahead and took a look on Amazon, and this is the US pricing, which is $2.62, that would be around $3.30 Canadian if we converted it. So it's kind of interesting to see how much you would save. $3.39, maybe $3.43. Anywhere in between there. It's still a savings overall, but because of the conversion, the import fees, it's very, cost prohibitive. But even then, it's pretty expensive for the US price as well, because let's face it, guys, when you're looking at the product, and you see other box openings, and I saw a whole bunch in the last couple of days. I've been taking a look and getting some information, checking with people to see, and I can see how many Shocklands are opening. And of course they're commenting like, look, this is a $100 Shockland. No, it's not. This is a $30 Shockland. No, it's not. None of those prices at pre-release are going to hold. Just because you put a price on paper saying that's what the card is worth does not mean that is the value of the card. And don't ever believe that. We know what happens after the pre-release. We know what happens 120 days out. And the fact that other YouTubers, other content creators, other people out there try to say that these cards are going to hold value really irritates me at this point, because they're not. There might be the odd one that holds a slightly higher value, but overall these cards are all going to fall in price. And even if some of those cards do hold a higher value, that just puts more pressure on the other versions of the card to become that much cheaper for players to afford. Interesting, right? It means the higher end cards that may possibly hold value, and none of these cards should be $100. I'm sorry, they're not worth it. They're beautiful artwork, but that doesn't justify the price. Just because it's an expensive box doesn't mean the cards are inside are expensive, because it's a reprint set. And if Wizards really did want success, if they had planned this properly, they would have made the price for a collector box $199. They would have made draft boxes $150. And let the players have a great time at their pre-releases experiencing this amazing product. And let the collectors who sought out the special cards of a reprint enjoy getting the collector boxes. But they didn't do that, because they'd already set the tone for what they wanted to happen with this product. Now, some of you guys might say, but it's going to be tighter production runs. It's going to be tighter print runs. That's true. That is absolutely true. But that doesn't mean that players are going to hold up the values just because it's harder to open. It's still just a Shockland. It's not a new land type. It's not a new ability. It's just some new artwork on a card we already know exists. And that's where a lot of players are going to hang their hats. That's where I'm hanging my hat. I'm saying it's just a reprint set. I get to enjoy it. I can appreciate the good art. I can appreciate the actual construction of how they put this series together for players. It's going to be fun to play, but I'm not going to pay a premium price on a product that's a reprint, a rehash of what's already out there. And by the way, as much as the content creators out there are kind of oohing and awing about some of the beautiful artwork and some of the great cards, the pre-sales are abysmal across the board. Yeah, a couple of collector boxes here and there, but I haven't seen sales this low since things like Dragon's Maze, since Unfinity, since the Marvels. That's how bad I'm comparing it to. It's just one of those things that you sit back and you go, there is no way these prices are going to hold. In the secondary market of everything that's out there, you're telling me a Watery Grave, Shockland, full art, whatever, is $100. And somebody wouldn't rather get a metal worker or work their way into a collector edition force field or some other reserve list card of equal value? It's really hard to justify when I can just go buy 7 or 8 Watery Graves from one of the Ravnica block series for $10 each. It just, you know, it's not going to hold water for players looking at this stuff in an upward motion without having a lot of drinks under the belt to make it look right. The math doesn't add up on this product, and that's the problem with it. And hopefully, Wizards will learn from this, because I think it's going to be a catastrophic failure. I think we're looking like not even double feature. It's going to be way worse than that, because at least double feature sold those initial boxes. People knew Ravnica Remastered was coming, and they still decided not to buy it. They've still decided to hang back. Boxing Day sales, surprisingly on a lot of these $99 boxes, did a lot better than I thought. But these new remastered things, even Dominaria Remastered, which was on sale I think locally for $2.19, has sold like 2 boxes. Okay? Players don't believe. Okay? Like the Polar Express. Do you believe? If you don't believe, you're not going to get on the train. That's a good analogy. I like that one. You're not going to get on the train and enjoy the hype that follows. And that's why Wizards isn't promoting the living you-know-what out of this product. They know. Murders at Karlov Manor, they have a chance depending on how they put things together. Play boosters will be an intriguing thing. But Ravnica Remastered will probably be the last real remastered product we see for quite a while that has any legs under it remotely. Because they've reprinted so many cards and so many other variations inside so many different products, they don't have enough juice to carry these product lines. They gotta just slim it up a little more, let the product line end in 2024, 2025, and then we'll see what they come up with next. But this one here is not going to hold its price just due to the fact there's no cards worth buying. Unless you're a player out there collecting artwork, you as a player now get to enjoy the suppressed value of all the other Shocklands we have out there in all the different variants and versions, because these ones here will be at a higher price point at first because the boxes cost so much, which will suppress the prices of lower, less desirable versions of it, allowing you, the player, to buy some of the cards you've always wanted, to only spend $8 to $10 buying these things. Yes, they could drop as low as $5, but I think we're going to see so few of these boxes opened outside of content creators and some stores that players aren't indulging their money in this stuff right now. This is not where they're going to hang their hat. And surprisingly enough, I've heard it so many times over now that it's going to fail, it almost feels like nothing can save it. Even if it is a great product, even if something crazy happens, like an Amazon dump at some point, or maybe it's going to be dumped to a distributor and through LGSs, it's not going to hold the price value it holds now. I would expect to see it on sale somewhere in the next 3 to 4 months. We'll have to see how tight the print run is, but this is just one of those products that was kind of doomed to fail based on what they were putting into it. They thought a couple of years ago this was going to be a good idea. They went through the R&D, the development. They went through all the steps they would normally do, but they had no idea how much the market was going to change, how much the player mentality around them was going to change. With so many TCGs right now in trouble, and I'll cover that in another video, Wizards of the Coast is going to stand high among them, but even they just can't do whatever they want anymore and expect it to rain money. They got to give us something good. They got to expose the players to something that they're going to want to sink their teeth into, and products like this just don't hold water like they used to. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for being here on the channel. Thanks for hanging out. If you guys are buying some of these boxes, I'd love to see it in the comments section. Don't be shy. It's still a great product. If you're going to a pre-release, make sure you tell me you're going to a pre-release, because that's at least where I'm going to go and expose myself to some fun, because it is a well-built set. I'm telling you, it's going to be great. I just don't think the value of the collector boxes or these draft boxes are going to hold value after release, guys. They're just going to sit there on store shelves. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Looking forward to seeing you all for another video tomorrow. Have a great day, and don't forget, bring a friend to Magic. And of course, guys, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons supporting the channel each and every day. Because of these patrons, we've got daily uploaded content for everybody to enjoy. So thanks again to my patrons. Thanks again, YouTube membership members. You rock. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. You've made it to the end. So, where are we today in the world of TCGs? Well, we'll get to that in another video, actually. I don't want to touch too much into that. Guys, it's kind of interesting to see Ravnica get closer and closer. And you can see where you would see sales before, dry as a bone. Where you'd see excitement and hype, next to nothing. Yeah, there's views online to see what's happening with the product, but most people know not to touch it at this point. I just can't steer people clear enough. I gotta warn people. It doesn't mean it won't be fun to play, but that price point is ridiculous, and it freaks me out. It scares me. Because if people do buy into that, it only gets worse from here. We have to send them a message. And the message is, this isn't good enough for my cash. If these are just game pieces, why would I spend so much money on something that already exists? That's like buying a Cabbage Patch doll in 1983, buying a Cabbage Patch doll in 1991, and saying, hey, they doubled or tripled the price. It's inflation. It's all kinds of crazy stuff. Doesn't really hold up, does it? Because you still have your Cabbage Patch from 1983. You don't need the new one. If it's the exact same one, why would you buy a replacement if the other one's not broken? Those cards you already own from Ravnica still exist. I know it's probably not the best analogy, but it's off the top of my head, and I don't edit these things. Whatever happens, happens here. Now, that said, 20K party. Somewhere at the beginning of the new year, in the first week, I would say, somewhere between let me pull a calendar up. Let me give you guys the heads up, because you're here at the end. Somewhere between the 2nd and the 5th will be the 20K purchase video. You guys are here at the end. I will put it up for Discord, and I'll put something for my patrons, but I think between the 2nd and the 5th of that week of January, that's when we will have the purchase video go up. So be ready for it. It's going to happen as a regular video during the regular time slot. Okay? You do want to see what's in the video, take your time. If you know what you want from the previous video, get the email in there fast. I noticed people waiting from the last time where it was an accident. When I hit 20K, people just started emailing. So be ready for that, okay? Now, that said, the 20K party, what we open all this stuff and do all the crazy stuff, will probably be within a week or so after that, so I can start shipping things out. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit faster so we can try to organize this. I may even have to call the boss and say, hey, I need a little bit of time off to get some of this stuff organized, but we'll see. I'm going to try to organize it a little bit quicker than I did last time, okay? So thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being there.